Good morning. I'm out for my walk today. I'm wearing my ugly shirt. My wife says it's ugly. You know, the reason why I'm wearing this shirt, you can see I have my little microphone. I had to put it somewhere. On the t-shirt, it was all crinkly, and so I was wearing it. That's why you have this shirt. You know, I don't think it's ugly. I think it's a nice pattern. I mean, we can, it's something that you don't see every day. So just one of those shirts that was given to me. Well, today, I really don't have a topic. I had a lot of things on my mind this morning. And so this talk here is mainly, it's not about teaching you anything, or it's just kind of sharing on the top of my thoughts, what's on my mind, and some of the things I'm reflecting and things what I'm going through. And maybe it can help you also in your journey in your life. Didn't have really anything on my mind specific to share with you this morning. I'm just kind of reflecting on life, what's on my mind. A lot of issues, a lot of things I have to deal with. Have you ever had that kind of feeling? Well, I mean, me doing episodes, had to plan something. I didn't really put out a plan. I just wanted to just wake up in the morning and just show up, hit the record button, and whatever comes out, comes out. And so this morning I've been thinking the idea of me showing up here, trying to get my thoughts out of my head and verbalize it and get to a point where it kind of be a part of my healing, a part of how you say, comforting, something to settle my mind. I have a lot of things that was on my mind today. And so I think that just me walking out here, beautiful nature. My wife said, you got an ugly shirt on today. I looked at it, I don't think it looked that bad, but I have a purpose for this shirt. This shirt, the collar, it holds my microphone. And I think that, it's just very functional. And it's a little chilly out here. I didn't want to wear a coat all the time. But yeah, this morning, there's just a whole lot of things on my mind. A lot of things that happened. A while back, I lost my car. I almost killed my wife and myself on the highway. Just a lot of issues, a lot of things going on. But each day I look at it, God's taking care of me each day. And all you can do is take it a day at a time. And things do not always go your way. I wanted to talk about relationships a little bit. This morning, I'm reflecting about what happened last week. Sometimes, have you ever felt, sometimes in life you were like, you're really close to someone, I'm still close, but I'm pretty much disappointed in the way our relationships are going with family and friends. And it was shocking to a point where we got into a conflict and we went our separate ways. Not permanent. It's not a permanent thing, but it's one of those things. We had a major disagreement, and like Mark Anthony, I believe, like in the Bible, Paul, Barnabas, going back and forth about Mark Anthony. If I got that correct, it was just major disagreement. Still on the same mission. I believe we're still on the same mission with the family, but they're misunderstanding me and I'm misunderstanding them. And I'm just, it's a very complicated situation. And some things, and sometimes, most times actually, we don't have the answers. I don't have the answer right now, but I know, given a little time, I was mentioning within the conflict, I said, let's not make any decisions right now. Just wait and let time pass. Pray about it, think about it, but don't make any decisions. It was like the deaf ears. They didn't care. We're gonna make a decision now. And they made a decision. And I'm like so disappointed. I say, sometimes you feel you have to make a decision because you feel it's an urgent matter. But sometimes, a lot of times, I find results are much better when you wait a while, sometimes I remember many, many years ago, almost maybe 35 years ago, and it's still on my mind because a bad decision. I was at the car lot. Me and my wife, we got some money, the last money we had, and we had to buy a car. We had this Volkswagen, and it was a nice Volkswagen Bug, like a classic. Went to the car lot, and we saw this beautiful little red car. It wasn't an Escort, but it was a really nice car. Ford, it's a Ford maybe maker. The dealer was just selling a car there. But so we're so fascinated. Well, at least I was, and we made a deal with the car dealer. We're gonna buy the car, but that deal, it took a long time to make that deal, because my wife didn't want to go over $4,000. That means including taxes. And these guys said that's impossible, and she wouldn't let go of the money because she said, I'm not paying all my money and still have to owe something. I want to walk out of here with no payments. And man, she drove hard. The car lot actually was closing. We were sitting there. They said, woman? No, they didn't say woman, but they said, come on, Diane. This is a deal. You already get. And Diane said, no way. I'm not moving. $4,000, and then that's it. Now, that wasn't a bad decision. But what happened was, that night, we went home. They said they're going to fix up the car, polish it up, and we already traded in our Volkswagen. And so we were ready to pick up the car the next day. And so I was thinking, hold on, what we got here? Yeah. Oh, back to the point. I was so the next day, I go by myself now. We made the deal and everything. I go to the car lot to pick up the car, and they told me that a snow shovel, a truck hit the car and totaled it. Well, me being naive, I said, so what's going on? What's going to happen? And they said, well, we got another car for you. I said, I don't know about that. And you know what I should have did, which I didn't do, which I regret today, is I said, give me my money back and my car. But the car was sold already. And they said, we already gave it away, sold it to someone. And so they made it difficult for me. And so it was so, I'm in a situation where my car is sold. I lost my other car. And they say, well, go choose a car off the lot. Between these cars, they sent me over there, and I didn't see anything as nice as that shiny red car we had made a deal on the day before. For me being, the urgency, I don't have a car, and I had to make a decision there. But what I should have did, reflecting years later, I should have waited a day. I said, listen, I should have told them this was not what we planned. So we want our money back, and we want to pick up our car tomorrow because this deal is not complete. If I did that, and whatever the deception or whatever they had in plan, they would have came up with a car. But I end up rash decision. I went there and chose one of the cars they picked out for me. There's about 10 of them. And nothing was like the car we had before. And I had to come home, so I didn't have to, but I came home with a car I wasn't quite happy with, but it ran. And my wife was disappointed for that decision I made. And so I'm saying like this. And and in fact, about 3 months later, the car was having problems. It was like, it was just a waste. I'm not saying the shiny red car wouldn't have had a problem. At least it would be the car that we chose. But sometimes you get pinned in a corner to make a decision. And that decision, I still think about it today, almost 35 years. And I'm like, that was so stupid. But God is saying, you learn from these lessons. I'm telling you today, you got a decision to make, don't make a decision. Don't decide right now. You know, just go, give it a day. Think about it. Don't be in a rush to make a decision, to make a move. Because most of the time, you were thinking, and why would I feel so compelled to make the decision then? Because I was hungry. They smelled it. They said, that boy is hungry. He'll settle for anything. And sometimes you just need to say, no, I'm not gonna make a decision today. I gotta think about it. I gotta pray about it. And I'm telling you, I didn't really have planned this video today. But you know, I'm showing up. Just doing what I can. I mean, this stuff, what I'm doing now, you know, I used to think, hey, benefit, can I offer somebody a value? And also, maybe it's to monetize it in a way where I offer something and somebody can purchase. That's okay. And that's the purpose of all these videos a lot of times. But you know, I never had a diary or sat there and did a journal. This is sort of, I think this is good for me. I mean, you guys need to put your phone on a stick and walk around and talk about what's on your mind. Because sometimes when you speak it out, it's sort of like it's more real. Because things rattle in your mind all the time, and then you're going from one point to the next point. But this point we're here about making a decision. You know, it's important to make a decision, but also it can't be emotionally driven. It can't be, you know, about what you feel. You got to know things that are factual and true. If it's not that, then your emotions could be anything. And so I'm just saying, make your life more pleasant. And yeah, my son is driving in. Sorry to get distracted off that, but I had to wave to him. Good morning, son. Yeah, he's driving in, overnighter. But what we have to do is, yes, decide, but don't rush your decision based off of emotion. You know, I'm still bothered. I made a lot of decisions in my life that I regret. I mean, you know, what do? You make a bad decision, you got to keep living. That's one mistake, and you're gonna make many more. But I think you make less, you know, you don't have as many mistakes if you just stop and think about it, and don't let the trial or the event of the day distract you on your purpose. You know, I think purpose of that car, or getting a car, that Volkswagen, it was a nice classic, but it was very cold. It couldn't heat up in Michigan. You know, the little heater in that car, we'd be driving, my baby's frozen, freezing, my wife is freezing and scraping off the ice while I'm driving. It was time to get another car. And that was a good reason. But when you had to make a decision, because now we're looking at the fancy, or the decision was made, but somebody else had a plan for us. And I fell into the trap of their plan. And so I mentioned earlier this morning, I was thinking about, you know, tribulations with my family, coming from all directions. I could tell you, there's a whole lot of things going on in my life, and a lot of decisions I have to make. I was my family and friends forcing me to make a decision, do this and do that. I can't tell you personally because you'd be like, it's crazy. But then I was pushed in this thing, and I said, Lord, what is going on? And the Lord says, you got to make a decision, Anthony, but don't be rushed. Don't be rushed into your decision or your decision making. And so I said, all right, for one of the rare times, I listened to the Lord, and I said, okay, I'm not going to say anything, and I am not going to even contemplate it. Let me let a day or two go. So it's been about 2 or 3 days, and my mind was going back and forth. Well, this is what I think I should do, and that's what I think I should do. And I'm going back, and I said, and I feel that the Lord said, but telling me, Anthony, that's not the answer. So I'm sitting there, counseling with my wife and people I trust. But the decision still had to come back to me what I'm going to do. And I'm saying, like, right now, I don't know what I'm going to do. And you know what? It's okay. You know, why do you have to make a decision? And why you have to know every time, every moment of your life what to do? So sometimes, just wait. And don't make a decision. Trust God. Talk to ones that you feel have confidence in. And you know what? In the midst of this decision making, this plan of me to make a decision, I'm at peace right now. Because I'm not wanting to hurt anyone and cause more trouble than what it is already. So I just have this confidence in me to assess. Sometimes we just need to assess what's inside of us, our motives. Are my motives right? You know, am I right? And if I'm, you know, I'm not saying you try to avoid, you got to make a decision one day, but you can't be afraid of making a decision, but you got to be wise too. Just because a problem is presented before you, sometimes it's not for you to even solve. Sometimes you just say, hey, that's not even my problem right now. And Lord, show me how I can make it right so that I'll be right with the Lord. That's the number one objective. And so I encourage you guys. Now, this is an unplanned video. Well, none of my videos are really, really planned. I'm just kind of free talking or free, just, you know, talking off my mind until I, you know, my motive and my motive is to be authentic, truly authentic. I hate reading scripts because I'm a terrible reader. I mean, I read so slow, and I just, something between my eyes and my mouth and my brain, I just have to read slow. But then when I get my thoughts in my head, okay, that's fine. And I'm not saying the planning because I think that's important. But sometimes you just have to kind of speak it through your mind, speak what's on your mind. You may have like this morning, I didn't have this particular topic. I was just talking freely in my mind, but it kind of, how you say it, appeared out of something that's really in my heart about decision making. And so back to that topic of making decisions. Sometimes you don't need to make a decision right away. You need a little time. And urgencies, things in your life pushing you to make a decision, that might be a sign, don't make a decision. You don't have to decide. So I would encourage you, troubles or some type of issue comes in your life and it's pushing you, make a decision, make a decision. And sometimes it's just best to wait. It's not gonna kill you. The world's not gonna come to an end. And just don't let circumstances drive you like the wind, left to right. You just have to be steady and think about things. And I encourage you, yeah, you don't have to decide. You know, this morning, I'm feeling good. I still got a decision to make, but it's not gonna perplex me to a point where I can't function. So in life, I think if you have these type of troubles, I kind of reiterate what I'm saying, is to don't be rash to make a decision. Take your time. Life is just that way. There's good and there's bad. You try to avoid the bad, but you end it to the bad. And sometimes life is just that way. And you just say, well, you know, there are gonna be good times, and there are gonna be bad times. But in the end, you're gonna be with the Lord. And so I encourage you, stay with it. All right, take care.